From Tally to Cali.
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by
Vitamin Energy.
The vitamins.
The energy.
Now here's Warchant.com's Azan Hajavandi
and Corey Clark. Wake up! It's Wake Up Warchant, presented by Vitamin Energy. Coming up on today's show, a worthy adversary awaits, and we're okay with it. Final thoughts as FSU takes on Virginia tonight. Will this be the game where all the playmakers show out for the Noles? And the weekly over-under contest, $25 at Garnet and Gold up for grabs. Wake Up Warchant, presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com. One more time this week, Corey. Give me that promo code, please.
warchantbogo.
What happens when I use that promo code, by the way?
You get one free, or you get 10 free if you bought 10.
Nice.
Just do the math works out. If you buy 20, you get 20 free. Yeah. So I guess if you buy 20, you get 40. That's another way to put it. Yeah. You buy 100, you get 200.
The math works out with Vitamin Energy. 260 milligrams, all natural caffeine. That's what's going to power you through your entire workday with a steady, slow digestion progression of that all natural caffeine. No sugar crash, non-GMO. And then vitamins and nutrients on top of the energy to improve your focus, to improve your mood, and a whole other litany of things that we all want to try to get a little bit better. Try it out. It's Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com. Again, that promo code WARCHANTBOGO. Buy one, get one free. Warchant.com, ultimate Seminole sports source. We've got previews up the yin-yang. We're going to have a pregame show 3 p.m. today with Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang getting you ready for kick. And then there'll be a post-game show with Gene Williams and Tom Lang 10 to 15 minutes after the Noles improve to 4-0. And then at some point, we will have the Warchant Wrap. That's right, everybody. The Warchant Wrap, which is also presented by Vitamin Energy. We'll have that up for your viewing pleasure, as well as post-game reaction from Charlottesville, because Irish O'Fell, our managing editor, is there, as well as senior writer Corey Clark. How was the sojourn up to Dave Matthews' stomping grounds, my friend?
It was all right. I hope my audio was okay. Had a little bit of I wouldn't call it a dust-up, but a bit of a disagreement with the second Mrs. Clark, because I don't know if we got into it on yesterday's show, but the
Wi-Fi.
I couldn't get on. Yeah. I couldn't get onto the high-speed Wi-Fi. It didn't even give me the option. Sometimes when you check, everybody knows this. You check in a hotel. It gives you the Wi-Fi, you put in your room number and your name, and it'll say if you want to spend an extra $5 for high-speed Wi-Fi. It didn't even give me the option yesterday. And then we get to the hotel today in Charlotte, which is also a Hilton, and when I get on my computer, it doesn't even give me the option again. It's because it gave it to my wife a minute beforehand, and she declined it. And so once you decline it, you would have a better chance of getting legitimate, like the JFK files, unredacted, than you would to go down to a front desk and say, hey, I accidentally declined the high-speed internet access. I would like to get high-speed internet access. Can you make that happen? They looked at her computer for 30 minutes. The guy clicking around all over her computer couldn't figure it out. And they couldn't yesterday either. So, guys, if you want that high-speed internet, don't be all willy-nilly when you first flip on your computer. Think about it. It was unbelievable that happened again. So now I'm on my personal hotspot. Hoping it works out. Hoping it sounds fine.
Everything work out in time for Coach Speak?
I had to do it on my hotspot.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think it worked out. It said they didn't complain about it, so I think the audio sounded okay for the most part. And I saw all the clips, and it was a good time, fun time. Everybody go watch Coach Speak.
Heck yeah, everybody. That's on its own YouTube channel these days. I think it's no longer on the
It is in the Seminole Headlines podcast feed, though, still.
Yes.
So you can still listen to the audio version only, which this week especially, you need to watch it. The Bill O'Brien podium interview is an all-timer. It's unbelievable. So, go watch it.
All right, Florida State taking on Virginia tonight. This has been the longest week ever. It's incredible.
Yeah.
7 p.m. kick. It'll be on ESPN. Go to the corner pocket if you can't make it up there. This game opened up at 7.5. Most books have it at 7, some at 6.5. Where's the total? How come they want to just show you the total on Vegas Insider? Not sure what the total is. Sorry,
I thought it was 60. Ooh. When I saw it on ESPN, the bottom line, it was 60.
I might hammer that's another part of the program. Might hammer that. You did a story that's up on warchant.com, though, about having to give a little bit of respect here because Florida State's going to be going up against a fairly talented quarterback. And you think about last year and so many of the struggles they had, and that was like the real bummer of it all, was that they never really had, obviously, an advantage at quarterback, but they weren't going up against world-beating quarterbacks, right? Like Duke didn't have a great quarterback. North Carolina's quarterback wasn't great. DJ Lagway, I don't know, was all right. Other than like Cam Ward, and I guess you want to say Haynes King and Tommy, perhaps. You're not really going up against like a murderer's row of quarterbacks, but it feels like Chandler Morris, to me, Corey, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, seems to not have the same skill set as Haynes King, but probably poses the same level of threat when it comes to a guy that might be able to orchestrate some stuff that's going to be a pain in your neck for perhaps a better part of 60 minutes on a football game.
Yeah, and he's experienced, man. He's a 2019 graduate. This is a sixth year of college football. He started at Oklahoma, played there for the COVID year in 2020, then was at TCU for 3 years, started 9 games there. I think he was the starter the first half of that season when they opened with that loss to Colorado, where everybody thought Colorado was incredible because they beat that TCU team. So he started 9 or 10 games at TCU, then went to North Texas, and that's where he found himself. Like he had 400-yard games. He was fourth in the country in touchdown passes, threw for almost 4,000 yards. And again, he wasn't facing the best competition at North Texas, just like he hasn't faced the best competition so far at Virginia. But he's got some swagger to him, a little confident, and a lot of confidence. Now, what the goal is tonight for the Florida State defense is to rattle him. He is not. Let's just say
sacked, Corey. He has not been sacked.
He has not been sacked. Some of that is they get the ball out quick. Some of that is the offensive line's played pretty well. And then obviously a big part of that, listening to the coaches and the players talk about it, is his ability to escape. And he is not like a Castellanos type mobile quarterback in the sense you don't expect him necessarily to run for 150 yards, or even like a Haynes King. Like Haynes King can kind of take over a game late. It's 3rd and 4. He's just going to run right and get 5.5. I don't know that Morris is that type of kid. What he's proven to be really adept at this season and last season too is making plays outside the pocket if you can't get him on the ground. He'll keep his eyes downfield and he'll hit big plays, man. He has a gunslinger mentality. He threw 12 picks last year, which I know a lot of people might be, that's exciting. He threw a lot of picks. He must not. I like quarterbacks with some picks. It means they're willing to take some chances. The beauty of that is they're willing to take some chances. And if Florida State's DBs can go make plays, like he'll try to fit it into a tight window. He'll make some throws that you're like, ooh, wow, okay. But yeah, I think he's certainly the best. I think he's probably the best quarterback they've faced so far. Maybe Simpson ends up being really good. I just think in that moment, his first really ever start on the road against that team and that environment, that was a lot to ask for Simpson. Morris is going to play with a lot more confidence than that. Now, so you got to rattle him. You got to shake him. You got to get him on the ground. And maybe if he sees 1 or 2 of his passes go into another team's arms, he gets a little skittish. Starts not trusting what he's seeing. Because he's one of these guys that I don't know if he has an NFL future, but we've all seen him our whole lives. These guys that are just natural passers, can throw the football. They might not have the biggest arm. They might not have this. He's only 6 foot, so he's not the biggest guy in the world. But some guys just have the ability to throw the ball, to get in tight spaces with different arm angles, and he might be one of those guys. And he's going to be a challenge. And they have a good receiver too. That this is going to be a challenging offense to face for sure.
Yeah, what do you think about those guys? Out wide, they went to the transfer portal and addressed their lack of playmakers. I think they actually had a pretty good receiver the last 2 years, and they lost him to the NFL draft. But Cam Ross is a guy that they brought in, and I think he might have been from James Madison, and he's also a pretty dangerous kick returner, punt returner. And then obviously Trell Harris, who caught 3 touchdowns against Stanford. Yeah. Again, like these are the pieces that, again, I'm not predicting an upset, or I think I picked 38-24 might have been my prediction on the Warchant report, but you just feel like this is going to be the most competent offense they've seen in several weeks, and honestly might be more competent than Alabama. I don't think they have as good of an offensive line, but I think the chemistry between this quarterback and these receivers might be better in week 5 than it was for Alabama week 1 out the gate inside Doak Campbell Stadium. So that is what gives me pause too. Is just you've got a quarterback, and he's got receivers, and he's got some pretty good chemistry really early on with these guys.
Yeah, and they might punch you in the mouth early. It's how you respond to that. Over the course of 60 minutes, if each team gets 10 or 11 possessions, you're the better football team, and you should win, unless things get a little bit out of control or wonky or you spiral a little bit. I'm the more I think about this game, the more I'm legitimately looking forward to it. Obviously, I want Florida State to win. I want them to be undefeated for that Miami game. I want them to be undefeated for the rest of my life. Let's be honest. What a great program this would be to listen to if they don't lose again for the next 41 years, because I'm going to live till I'm 91.
Why 91?
So, I don't know. I've always had a premonition about it. I don't know, Aslan. Ask me when I'm 91.
Hell yeah, brother.
You need to get, yeah.
Wake up, Warchant.
We're back.
We're back. Noles. Still having lost.
Yeah, Coach Jordan Travis has got to play well. I think that I just think it'll be a fun game. Yeah, man, I think it'll be a fun game.
We're the adversary. Like, it's not. Is there something wrong with, like, I want to see Florida State go up against we're the adversary and win win, obviously. But
right. You know. So I remember my days when I was a hardcore fan back in the 80s and 90s, where you got so sick of those Kent State type games where you'd beat a team 71-30 or something, or not back then, it was like 71-6. Right. And you'd be like, man, I just want to see Charlie Ward have to make plays in the second half. Yeah. I want to see him be pushed a little bit. And I absolutely want to see this football team pushed a little bit. Now, not pushed over the edge. You want them to win the game. But, I mean, look, if you can't beat Virginia, who you're better than, it might not end up being a special season after all. You know what I mean? I just think this is such a fun, unique test for this team, because they are going to be challenged. And they are going to have to make some plays. And I want to see how they respond on the road when things happen negatively to them. And I do want to see them pushed, and I think they will be pushed. And again, I remember sometimes it would even get to the point back in the mid-'90s where it was like, man, I hope this offense scores a couple touchdowns just to keep – I want to see this first-team offense have to respond. I want to see them on the field longer. I want this to be a game in the second half, so whoever the quarterback is or whoever the Warwick Dunn, I want to see him have to play into the fourth quarter. I want to see Tommy Castellanos have to make plays in the fourth quarter. Now, I know people listen to this are like, no, man, I hope he's out at halftime again because they're up by 6 scores. Sure, that would be a great sign, but as we all know, eventually you're going to have to go make plays. You're going to have to go beat a team in the fourth quarter. They did it once already, but that was at home. Now, it was against a better team, I think, certainly a more talented team, but you doing it on the road, man, that's a big deal. And it's fun when it happens. It's fun when you can show people and yourselves, most importantly, yeah, we got down. We were down in the second half. We were facing a good team that was red hot. We found a way to storm back. When we talk about that 13 team, and again, not throwing anything, not comparing the two, but obviously the Clemson game was an enormous win.
Yes.
But, man, that Boston College game, that felt like all the other Jimbo losses. Like, here we go. You're better than this team. You're sleepwalking. You're down 14-3. They're about to score again. You look listless and lost. And then the next thing you know, you run off like 28 straight points or whatever it was. But they got challenged. And they also had to go put the game away in the fourth quarter. And that portended well, that's a word I think, to what happened in Pasadena. They found themselves behind by double digits, and they did not panic. This team will be behind multiple times this season in games, maybe by multiple scores. How will they respond? Maybe it happens tonight. Can they come back and can this offense, when it really needs to go make plays or put a game away, can it go do it again on the road?
I like the reverse psychology there by Corey, like saying that it's a certainty they're going to be down in games. Why don't they just go wire to wire all year, just never trailing?
Their only time they trailed was the first drive of the season.
Yeah.
And then they go the rest of the season never trailing. Wouldn't that be something? That'd be boring, guys, wouldn't it? That'd be boring. Who wants that? You want some adversity.
No adversity, not boring. Exciting times await you over the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Head over there this evening if you want to watch the game with a lot of Nole fans that are going to be energized and excited, that are going to be dining on delicious food and ice-cold beverages. Daily lunch specials from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. if you want to start really early. And then they got that happy hour going from 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock. So you'll be properly served until kickoff. And they're going to have to pay full freight on the drinks. But they're still extremely affordable, especially to the people that are visiting from out of town or go to other places in town, like closer to the stadium, and see how much they charge you for a bottle of beer. It's outrageous. And they don't have food as good as Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Don't forget social calendar, Tuesday nights, trivia. Thursday nights, bingo. And then Sunday, all-day happy hour to get you ready for your NFL games. Dirty Bird's going to bounce back after last week's embarrassment, Corey?
Who do they got? The Commanders?
I think so.
I'm going to guess no. They did fire their wide receivers coach, the great Ike Hilliard, who played at Florida
I didn't know
back in the mid-'90s. He was their wide receivers coach, and apparently he was so bad that he get fired after Game 3. I guess when you lose 30-0 to the Panthers, somebody's got to get fired.
Yeah.
Much like when Florida State lost 30-0 to Wake at home, the offensive coordinator was let go or told he to have a good day the next day. So, yeah. I'm going to say no, though. I don't trust them right now. Don't like what I'm seeing from the offense, Aslan.
All right. Well, the Browns are going to carry the day, though. Flacco's found it, so that'll be good for the misses. Go check it out, the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachia Parkway, cptallybar.com, the website. Whether you're headed outdoors or out on date night, put on your Poncho Outdoors performance shirt and enjoy the breathable fabrics, functional pockets, and things like a microfiber lens cloth sewn into the hem of your shirt so that you can quickly and easily keep your shades clean, or in my case, eyeglasses. I'm rocking the Ultralight that opts for a single breast pocket for a more crisp look, in my opinion. If you want a looser cut, they've got you covered with their regular fit, or try the Slim Fit for a more polished fit that works in all settings and still gives you that light, breezy feel. Compare this to a cotton polo, not even close. A golf polo, still not as light and comfortable as a shirt from Poncho Outdoors. Are you up north? Try the flannels and the soft, broken-in feel of their denim shirts. Poncho stands by every shirt, and they'll make it right if it's not your favorite. If you've been looking for the perfect shirt, something breathable that fits great, feels even better, and stands out in a good way, give Poncho a try. Go to ponchooutdoors.com/wakeup for $10 off your first order, and we'll give you free shipping and free returns, and you get that Poncho promise. It's PONCHO outdoors.com/wakeup to save $10 off your first order. We're back. It's Wake Up Warchant, presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com, warchantbogo, your promo code. Days old news time, everybody, but it's relevant. The injury report. We'll get to the Florida State side of it, but the most interesting kind of development, I guess, first off, is just like Virginia. Half their team is listed as out, it seems like. But these are a lot of guys that haven't played this season. But their starting center, who is really a standout guy at UAB last year, transferred in and has graded really high through their first 4 games of the season. Brady Wilson left the Stanford game, was seen on crutches. Apparently it's a calf strain. He was listed as a starter on their depth chart a few days ago, but then in that initial injury report that came down, 48 hours before the first game or what have you, so came on Wednesday night at 8 p.m., Corey, Brady Wilson listed as questionable. That's a huge thing, I think, to monitor.
Okay.
Because for whatever we think about Florida State's defense, and I know there's a lot of good feelings about the Florida State defense, man, the strength has to be a guy like Darrell Jackson. And if he's going to be going up, I don't know, they're not going to line him up like at a zero technique directly over the center, but he's obviously a guy that's going to be responsible for helping somebody stop Darrell Jackson, that Brady Wilson guy. But that seems to be, I would think when you look at this injury report, that's probably the biggest kind of albatross around one of these teams next, at least in my opinion. What did you take away from that initial injury report that dropped? Seems like Cam Davis, Roydell, Demonte Diggs, Chase Lofton, and obviously Ethan Pritchard, who continues to be hospitalized after getting shot on the Sunday after that Alabama victory. They were listed as out, as well as Gavin Markey, who's apparently a real person on the roster and everything. Questionable, Javen Boggs, Caleb LaValle, Kevin Wynn, and then probable Tommy, Randy Pittman, Keziah Holmes, and Jonathan Daniels, who I don't think has seen very many snaps this season, but just a redshirt freshman. So when you hear those names, see those names, what were your thoughts on that initial report?
I mean, nothing surprising on the Florida State. I guess Boggs, right? But
right.
He was listed as questionable.
Yes.
And then they'll release another one today, which is like the official one. So, look, if he's questionable, it's good that McCoy is back. And Squirrel wasn't even on it at all, right?
Right.
So that's a good sign. Kevin Wynn was questionable, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, I think with Virginia, it was noticeable. They had 2 pages worth of guys that were out. But then you're like, okay, that I don't think that's many starters, but that's a depth thing, right? Like it's not great that Diggs is hurt. Like you need as many defensive linemen as you can, the guys that can actually play, just to rotate in there, just to give guys snaps off. And so yeah, you would think maybe in the fourth quarter of a close game, because let's remember, man, Virginia hasn't played a close game in 2 weeks either. I know. I guess they still played their starters some into the fourth quarter of that Stanford game, but that was hardly a game in the second half. And, if this is going to be a one-possession game, which Vegas thinks it is, all the plays you can steal with second-team guys makes Darrell Jackson that much fresher at the end of a game. It makes Williams that much fresher. The Desir twins, if they're on the field there at the end. Even if you get a few snaps out of Kevin Wynn, that's better for Daniel Lyons. So he's not chasing that kid all over the field for 58 snaps. Maybe it's only 50 snaps. And it might come down to the last drive, and you want guys as fresh as possible. But other than that, it's interesting seeing it, but no real takeaways for me other than I hope Boggs is good to go here soon. And, it's encouraging that Squirrel's not even on it.
Yeah.
So he's going to play. And, again, that's another thing. So we haven't seen this offense really click. Let me start over. Of course it's clicked. It leads the nation in scoring. Like where everybody's contributing. Like where, Squirrel had a big catch against Alabama. Deuce had the big quarter against East Texas A&M. Danzy's been Danzy. Sawchuk scoring touchdowns, but it's not. It would be cool if they had like 10 or 11 drives and like Deuce 8. Squirrel had big plays. Danzy had big plays. Lucas had big plays. Tommy did Tommy stuff. Cromaw had some big runs. And when you play competitive games and you're in the third and fourth quarter of a close games, you're going to see more and more of that. And you will kind of get to see one of these games, Florida State operating at all its weapons intact. Where it's like, okay, because they haven't had to. Alabama, they obviously had to play that whole game with starters. They completed 9 passes. There will be a game, maybe this one tonight, where they have to complete 18 to 22 passes. What's that going to look like? Who's going to catch them? What kind of plays are they going to make after the catch? Squirrel has not made an impact yet, except for the first drive of the season. He had that 40-yard catch, and that's been a wrap. Deuce and Danzy haven't really done a whole lot in the same game yet. You know what I mean? Pittman made some catches in that Alabama game. I think he was probable on that on the injury report, I think. But he'll be back. So I want to see what the weaponry looks like when it's all fully engaged. And of course now Boggs is a little banged up, but you got McCoy back, so I feel like your running game and your passing game, as long as Tommy is healthy-ish to be like Tommy with his legs, I think it'll be fun to watch tonight. I think it's going to be fun to watch every time they're a competitive game, as long as they stay relatively healthy. And I want to reiterate, I do think this game will be competitive, and they are going to be challenged. They are going to have to go make some drives in the second half to either put this game away or go win the game. And it'll be fun to see how they respond to it. And let me get ahead of this, Aslan. If they don't respond well in Charlottesville, if they end up losing this game, it doesn't mean the season's over.
No way.
It just means they're not as good as we thought they were. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
you know what
sure.
I mean?
Yeah, listen.
Like right now, I just wrote a column about this that'll be on the website when people are listening
Still
to
September.
this.
Yeah.
It is, right? So right now we went from, I just hope they get out of September 3-1. Was my goal, was my thinking. Get out of September 3-1, try to be ranked, see where you are going to that Miami game. Well, they're already guaranteed of at least 3-1. But when you beat Alabama the way you beat Alabama, expectations change drastically. The ceiling shoots up 10 more stories. If you lose to Virginia, obviously I feel like that ceiling lowers a little bit. But it doesn't mean it crashes through your head or onto your head. You still got things you can go accomplish. You've just got to get better. You've got to get better. Like this could be it's going to be a learning. It's going to be a game you learn from and grow from either way. You'd rather learn when you win, but there will be some things that show up in a road game against a good offense that haven't shown up yet. That doesn't mean they can't be fixed. It doesn't mean you can't go win the rest of them. That's why I so desperately want them to be undefeated for that Miami game. I just think it would be awesome. But even if they're not, You go win that Miami game, you're still going to be partying like it's 1999. And I'm not just saying that because of the Prince lyric. I'm saying it because they beat Miami that year and wound up winning the national championship.
Wire to wire, baby.
Wire to wire. Yeah, they didn't have a loss. They didn't lose to Virginia that year. But that's why this game is such a show and tell type game. Like, just to see what this team kind of is made of. And yes, the ceiling lowers a little bit. Like, okay, you go from right now, people are pie in the sky. Like, man, what are they gonna get a bye in the playoff? If they win the conference, who are they going to face in the conference championship game? Maybe that conversation gets tempered a little because what you got coming the next week. But it doesn't mean it's off the table. That's the beauty of this game. You lose this game, if you win out, you're in the playoff.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know that there's anything we could see in this game, save for like a horrible injury or two, where you would think they can't win the rest of their games. It's going to be a challenge. If you can lose to Virginia, that means you probably lose 3 or 4 more times to teams on your schedule, but it also doesn't mean you can't win them all. And so, again, I keep reiterating. I'm sorry I keep repeating myself, everyone. That's why I'm excited about seeing how they respond to this. It is a pressure-filled game, but it's not a do-or-die game. It's not a do-or-die game, but there will be real pressure, and it'll be fun to see how they respond.
The folks who are drinking the perfume and not just smelling it, though, will they be jarred, do you think, if it is a one-possession game? Like, will that then bring down the chasing 2013 kind of expectations the way that I think we literally called the podcast after the Boston College game. Either the title of it or then the timestamp was just like, we will never talk about the 2013 team ever again until like another season rolls around or something, because that was like the talk after the way they beat LSU and then hanging 66 against Southern Miss and not looking good, like not playing well, but still hanging 66. There was a lot of people like, man, like this team they might be like 2013. So I wonder if it is as close as maybe Vegas thinks. Everyone's still super excited, obviously, and all your goals are still ahead of you. But then maybe maybe we don't have to compare this. We don't have to compare everything to something else. We can just kind of enjoy and embrace the actual moment that we're in.
Yeah, I don't think it should be compared to 13 no matter what, until they get to Pasadena. I don't think anything should be compared to 13. They're not as talented as the 13 team. I'm not going out on a limb and say anything that's not true. That team had the whole starting 22 was NFL players. This isn't that, but and also the sport isn't that anymore. Like none of these teams just roll over their competition. There aren't juggernauts that just steamroll to championships. If they don't suffer losses, which they almost all do, even if they don't. They stub their toe and are in a couple of close games. They have to go win games in the final 5 minutes. So, yeah, I think that might lower the expectations for some people. But, again, I think the pragmatic folks realize you get out of here with a win and go make plays in the fourth quarter against a hungry team in a I don't want to say raucous environment, but a tough place to play on a Friday night in Virginia with 50,000 fans cheering against you or whatever. It's not the easiest thing in the world. It's a challenge. If you can go handle that and win, even if you don't win by 50 points or 30 points or 20 points, I think most people will appreciate the W. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I just don't think there are ugly wins on the road in conference, especially when you win every win in conference gets you closer to the ultimate goal. There's no such thing as a road win. There are an ugly win. There can be non-dominant wins, but there aren't disappointing wins anymore. There just aren't. You go and you do enough to win the game. And again, I go back to 2 years ago. I'll keep doing that. Like that team did not just boat race everybody on the schedule. Right. They had a lot of games that came down in the fourth quarter, including Duke at home. Yeah.
And that quarterback had to go out. Yeah, the quarterback got injured in the fourth quarter when they were in the red zone, and then the game went sideways for Duke. They were down at half, Florida State.
Down at half there at home. They were down at half to Clemson. Boston College, they just kind of they got lucky, quite frankly, in that game. Like, they weren't dominant for a lot of that season. Didn't matter. They still were undefeated and should have been in the playoff. And so let's hope that that's what we're talking about that again this year. I don't foresee a undefeated season, but you don't have to be undefeated. That's the beauty of 2020. This ain't the 90s. It's 2025 college football. You can experience a tough loss on the road and still go accomplish everything. I just keep coming back to, and I wrote it in the column, like it will have a game of the century type feel next Saturday night if you win this one tonight. If you win this one tonight in front of the nation, because they're all going to be watching, and both the U2 teams are undefeated, top 8, top 6, whatever it is, hosting Miami at home with first place in the ACC on the line, and it's not a default playoff game, but if you win these next 2 games, you feel pretty darn good about where you're going to be in early December, where they're going to be sending you, whether you're going to have a bye, whether you're going to host a playoff game, or you're on the road. Like you win these next 2, you have set yourself up to have some wiggle room and still easily get into the playoff. So but it's a big one tonight, man. But it's not a do or die one.
Right.
And again, that's why I get so excited about it. But I hope people understand. You get out of there with a 20-19 win. I don't care if the kid misses a 31-yard field goal, and it's his 5th miss of the night. Don't apologize. You go get you a dub and get ready for Miami. On to Miami. That's right.
2 things I wanted to double back on, Corey, real quick. The hostile environment kind of aspect. I thought it was interesting when we spoke to Norvell earlier this week. I don't know if it was on Monday or Tuesday, but I think Ira asked him about just going on the road. And for so long, Norvell's always been like, he's scoffed at momentum. He's like, yeah, momentum, whatever. It's like, it's one play. You control your response, et cetera, et cetera. But he seemed to kind of entertain the idea of, like, I think he mentioned just about, there's, you make a bad play, that energy kind of feeds off the other team. They're able to get that energy from the crowd. So I do wonder how much of just being on the road and expecting this to be maybe a more nip and tuck game for at least, maybe the first half, Norvell thinks this game is, versus like a lot of fans that think this is going to be high 40s versus low teens for Virginia. Just he seems to maybe change his tune, I think, when it comes to momentum, which I found a little bit refreshing.
What do you mean? We changed his tune?
Well, like I said, I think we would ask him about momentum questions in a game, and he would basically say that to him there wasn't momentum was really not a thing. It was an imaginary thing from the outside because it's on to the next play. You can totally change the momentum in the following play. But he kind of opened the door, it seemed like, this week, talking about that there's other things outside just your response that can affect the football game, like a hostile crowd, being on the road, things like that. And then that can kind of feed off and give a team energy. I don't know if that's something that he would have necessarily said out loud a few years ago.
Yeah. There definitely is. So, I mean, yes, of course there can be momentum, and you can start to feel the weight of things. He's a former athlete and has been in athletics his whole life. He knows that. I guess you don't want to give people an excuse to not perform because the other team has momentum, quote unquote. So you pretend like, hey, that's not a big thing. But the great ones are the ones that stop momentum, the ones that flip momentum. That's the great teams and the great players. That's what they do. Think of any of your favorite athletes. And some of their biggest moments are when they just turn it on when it looks like it's getting away. It's just what the great ones do, man. And that's how you judge. That's a way to judge teams and how they respond to adversity, how they wrestle back momentum. And I was thinking about this, Aslan, as I watched I did watch all of that Eyes Up thing that they put out.
Look at you, attaboy. All 40
on
minutes
Wednesday night.
Nice.
They couldn't have. The Alabama stuff was all produced 2 weeks ago, right?
I would think
couldn't have just dropped that 2 weeks ago. They had to combine it with Kent State, and it's just a complaint. Y'all should have. The Alabama game now was a month ago. It's cool to see those things, but it's like, we're on to Virginia, baby. We can't be looking in the rear view to the big win from a month ago. That's the Virginia, but it's really well done. I want to say that. And I forget occasionally that 4th and 1 they went for at their own 34-yard line in the fourth quarter of a one-score game. Man, you just hope if this season turns out to be a special one where they go and do some things and get a trophy or two, that decision might have dictated it all. Like, he did not coach scared in the moment. They didn't play scared from the start. But when you get up 24-7, and all of a sudden it's 24-17, and you got some dudes on that sideline that aren't used to winning big games on your roster, because they were on the team last year, you can start to panic. and they do have the momentum. You know how you wrestle momentum away? A 70-yard drive that includes a 4th and 1 at your own 34. And you get it easily. Where Roydell Williams, if you watch that view from the show, the Eyes Up, there's a guy that meets him in the hole, and that guy gets sent backwards because Roydell ran through him because it was a big play and he needed that yard. That is how you steal momentum away. And I hope that play ends up being as big as I think it can be, because I think that was a tone setter for the season, perhaps. Like, yeah, man, we're not here to play scared. We're not here to coach scared. And it takes me back to 2013 again, because as I've said repeatedly, I think this team is as good as the 13 team and better, and I want to compare them as much as possible. It's weird that I'm going right back to a 13 comparison when I just said 20 minutes ago that it's dumb to do that. But in that Pitt game to start the season, I had watched Jimbo coach for, I guess, 6 years at that point. He'd been the head coach. That was his 4th year. And it's right before half. It's 21-10. Pitt has the ball. Florida State's already played well. They got down 10-0. They're on a 21-point unanswered streak. Pitt has the ball. They run a ball like a minute and a half left. They run a draw or something. They get 3 yards, 2 yards. Jimbo calls a timeout. And I'm like, man, that's not like Jimbo. Like immediately, like trying to get the ball back. Yeah. And it's like, man, the old Jimbo let the half run out and be happy to be up 21-10. This Jimbo ain't coaching like that. He wants the ball back. And he's going to force Pitt to do something so he can try to get the ball back. And what do you know? Tom Savage throws a pick to Terrence Brooks. Florida State gets the ball at midfield, goes right back down the field and scores again, and the game's over. Like, he coached that team differently because he didn't coach scared. And I thought at times Jimbo maybe coached a little bit to not lose. That team, that juggernaut team, he's like, screw y'all. I ain't scared of nothing. I'm going to change the way I coach. I feel like Norvell kind of did that with that play. Like, man, I'm not. I sat around and went through 2-10, and I punted a lot. And we didn't have a team like this, and I didn't have a quarterback like this, and I didn't have an offensive line that could go get me a yard when I needed it. I don't care that I'm my own 34. I'm going and getting this yard. And I just feel like that sets the tone. That's a mindset that a personality of this coach and this team maybe that you wonder if it carries over into a road game. You know, there will be a 4th down decision tonight where it's like, okay, man, how much do you believe? What's the momentum like? How much do you want to call that timeout, try to get the ball back, or are you happy to go to the locker room? Like, these kind of decisions tell you what the coach feels about the team. I think that decision against Alabama, I'm talking about a play that's a month old. I want that to still be there tonight. It has been so long since they played a competitive down of football, much less a competitive game. What is their mindset going into this game? Because they played like desperate, fired up,
rabid dogs
at Doak Campbell Stadium. They wanted to prove something to everyone. This ain't last year's Florida State team, and we're a good team, and we're going to prove it, and we're going to show you how physical we are. We're going to be the more physical team. We're going to send everybody backwards every time we hit them. That was the mindset and the physicality they played with from start to finish. Are they still that team? Didn't have to prove it the last 2 games. Let's see what it looks like tonight. Are they going to push people off the ball? Are they going to be sending guys backwards? Is that who they are, or is that just who they are when they're hunting? Now they're the hunted. Does that switch the mindset? That 13 team didn't care if there was a target on their back or not. They were going to play like they were going to play. The great ones don't. I'm interested to see what this one looks like Friday night, and how this team plays. The ferocity, the urgency, the desperation. How are they going to answer Virginia's desperation? And how are they going to answer a team that's trying to upset them instead of them being the one that's upsetting the team? That was a long diatribe. I apologize.
Well said. And to your point about them playing a competitive down in a competitive game, we've got the Noles back on Underdog Fantasy Sports for the first time since week 1, kids. Buckle up. Let's make this a little bit tight, Corey, because we're going to have to also do our over-unders. But over on Underdog, we do hires and lowers. Download the Underdog app today and sign up with promo code WARCHANT to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. It's an app. It's also a website, Underdog Fantasy. Check it out. Promo code is WARCHANT. All right, so we need to pick at least one Virginia player in this. But we've got Tommy. We've got 172.5 passing yards, 45.5 rushing yards, 1.5 passing touchdowns. Corey, either of those you want to go higher Or I know you want to go higher on one of those. Which one do you feel most confident going higher on?
I mean, kind of all of them, but I guess I would say passing yards.
Okay. I wonder if we can maybe.
I think Virginia is going to sell out to stop the run.
Okay.
I think there's going to be big plays to be made in the passing game if they can connect.
Gavin Sawchuk, 1.5 rushing and receiving touchdowns. It's only a higher option. Do you think he'll get 2 touchdowns in this game, Gavin Sawchuk? Or I can give you 16.5. All right, so what about 16.5 rushing yards, or 16.5 longest rush for Gavin Sawchuk?
Under.
Ooh. Lower?
Under. Lower, sorry, underdog.
All right, and
that's the problem. It's called underdog, right?
Yeah, right.
So under is on my brain. It's not called lower dog. If it was called lower dog, I'd think to say lower more.
Do you want to hear Chandler Morris, their running back Jamari Taylor, or Trell Harris? Trell Harris, 55.5 receiving yards. Jamari Taylor, 1.5 receptions. He's a running back. And then Chandler Morris, 243.5 passing yards, 18.5 rushing yards, 1.5 passing touchdowns.
I think, I would say higher on the rushing yards, but then sacks are taken into account. But he doesn't get sacked a lot. I think
yet.
But I think they're gonna try to factor in his legs more, and he's gonna make some plays with his legs. So I would say higher on the rushing yards.
All right. So Tommy going.
That's kind of telling, right? He's only 18.5. Like he's not. This isn't Tebow or Castellanos.
Tommy's 45.5 on the rushing yards.
Yeah.
Chandler Morris 18.5. So, and I do think Tommy probably is 3 times the runner that Chandler Morris is. But Chandler Morris is probably twice the runner than most other quarterbacks out there. So, all right, there we go. We're going to put Tommy higher, 172.5 passing yards. Gavin Sawchuk's going to rip off a run longer than 16.5 yards. Chandler Morris is going to run.
Well, I said under on that, but if you want to go...
I'm sorry, you're saying... I apologize.
I went lower. I went lower on that.
Lower on that. I apologize. And then Chandler Morris higher on his 18.5 rushing yards. We put $20 on that. $120 you would win. If you do the flex, you would win 60. But if you get one wrong, you get your money back.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
How did we do last week? Did you check up on it?
We didn't win. Did not do good.
Oh, okay. No,
it's
close.
Fine. On to a new week.
This is all for entertainment purposes.
On to a new week. Again, download the app today. Sign up with the promo code WARCHANT to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code WARCHANT. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog, make picks, win money. Underdog Fantasy Sports must be 18 or older, 19 or older in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 or older in Colorado for some games, 21 and older in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Decisions. Power or speed, quality or quantity. How about both? How about all? You don't have to sacrifice anything when you choose Brunt Workwear. You're not only going to get durable, well-crafted, resilient workwear, but also really stylish choices that allow you to go ahead and pivot right from the job site to your kids' activities, running errands, or meeting up for drinks after work. And since Brunt Workwear is geared for you, the real worker, they know you've got no time to waste. You need those work boots to deliver once you get them in the mail and you lace them up. So enjoy the peace of mind of work boots and gear that are ready to go right out of the box. Got that broken and comfortable feeling day one to give you the comfort and security you want. Use the promo code WAKEUP. I'm going to say it one more time. WAKEUP. It's all one word. Over at bruntworkwear.com to save $10 off your order. I'm going to say the website again, everybody. You ready? bruntworkwear.com. Use that promo code to save $10 off your order. We're back. It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com, warchantbogo, your promo code. Before we get to over-unders real quick, Corey, one other thing I did want to go back to when you talked about the offense hasn't necessarily seen all their playmakers, the confluence of everybody playing great in one game. But is that just, there's one football and their big plays are such huge yard chunk, that you're never really, we're not going to see Deuce, Squirrel, Jalen Lucas, Mekhi Danzy, and like Chroma each have plays over 35.5 yards in a single game probably.
I think there is a chance though. Like I think there is a chance that one of these games you will. Like I think like if you think about the Alabama game, and if Deuce, I think he dropped a third down throw That would have been a really good catch, but it was a catch he needed to make. It was right before they kicked the field goal. Deuce didn't make an impact in that game, but he was close to it. Like, I think there is a world where you think about the Alabama game, because all those guys you just mentioned did make a play, except for Deuce, really, like a big play. And I'm just thinking there will be a time where somewhere in the third quarter of a competitive game, the opposing fan base will be like, geez, another one? Like, where do these guys come from? Like, I just think they have that many weapons that can make impact-type plays from all different variations, like from the backfield, on end rounds, running downfield on posts, catching a short pass and breaking tackles. Like, I think there's a lot of different ways in a lot of different variants they can use to move the ball. And maybe it's not tonight, but there will be a time, I think, when you're looking at big play after big play after big play from different people. I want to see Lucas and Danzy on the field at the same time. All I'm saying.
We'll see if Gus can make it happen. All right, folks, you can make it happen by getting your picks right on our weekly over-under contest. Yeah, it's over and it's under, and you win $25 to Garnet and Gold if you're our grand prize winner. So, Corey, I don't have a lot of stuff in front of me to base things off of, but Tommy's usually a good starting point. You want to do like his longest rush or his longest completion, or the floor is yours to set most of these over-unders, my friend.
How about, before I forget, over, under, why don't we do higher, lower? That's also confusing, Aslan. You make me go from higher, lower to over, under immediately.
You're smart. You can get it. You can figure it out.
I do. How about a 2.5 punts for Chimento?
Okay. All right. There you go. I like that.
But just before I forget, I think that's a good number. They are going to punt tonight. I feel confident.
Okay.
And I think it could be a high possession game, depending on how Tony Elliott is now. Like, he might, if he believes in himself as much as I think he is, he will go pretty high tempo. But usually when you're the underdog, especially if you get off to a lead, you might want to slow it down a bit to keep the Florida State offense off the field. Mm-hmm. But I don't know that he's wired like that. So I think it'll be a high possession game. And so with that in mind, I think there will be a chance for Florida State still to even win the game comfortably, perhaps, but still punt 3 times or 4 times. So anyway, I think 2.5 is a good number.
You want to do total return yards for B.J. Gibson on punts?
No, hopefully it's 0, but it's all fair catches, and he catches the ball. How's about no? Because I don't even know if he's going to be the starting punt returner. We didn't get verification of that. He should be, in my opinion, but who am I? How about sacks of Morris?
All right, yeah, he's only been sacked once this year, and apparently it was
running out of bounds,
shooting himself in the foot. Yeah, he ran out of bounds before the 6. All right, 1.5.
Should it be 1.5 or 0.5?
I think everybody will hammer if we do 0.5, which is fine.
I do too. 1.5 is a good number.
Yeah,
1.5 is a really good number. I mean, there is a chance it could be 7.
Yeah.
Like, again, what you feel good about in a game like this, again, they're going up against a good offense. It's not just that you should theoretically have a talent advantage, your defensive line against an offensive line that maybe isn't all that great anyway and is a bit banged up, but also, like, you got Tony White, and you got a bunch of veterans that know how to disguise blitzes and disguise looks and can confuse offensive linemen and quarterbacks. So I feel like there's a chance he could be swallowed up a couple times without even seeing it coming.
All right. Let's see here. Squirrel White's back. Should we do someone with Squirrel? Longest reception, total receiving yards, receptions?
Okay. You set this one.
All right, let's go Squirrel receiving yards, 43.5.
Okay, yeah, that's you think. How about that's fine. That's good.
No,
then we got to do a Danzy. We got to do a Danzy one after that.
All right, yeah, Danzy.
How about total touches, Mekhi Danzy?
Okay.
So to
from
remind
scrimmage,
people,
touches from scrimmage.
Yes, yeah. He doesn't return kicks, does he?
No, I don't think so. But you never know. They might do something crazy, and I don't want to have to go back and look at.
And also, maybe he should. Just throwing that out there. Maybe he should be back there getting the ball in his hands as much as possible. So he's had 9 touches in 3 games.
Okay.
I feel like so 2.5, 3.5 would be the right number, but I'm going to bump it up to 4.5.
Ooh.
I think there's a chance. You can't.
Well, because if Boggs is banged up too, right? That probably puts him out there a little bit more.
And also, it wouldn't matter if they're all as healthy as they've ever been. You can't average 33 yards a touch and then only be on the field for 7 plays a game. Now, I think a lot of that is the games were so far gone these last 2 weeks. He wasn't on the field a ton. As we've talked about ad nauseum, I feel like this one's going to be a competitive game. You're going to want your playmaker out there. Because the thing about Makai Danzy is it could be 28-28 in the fourth quarter. And he might just bust the 70-yarder to give you the win. Like, you want to keep those guys on the field in case they're about to do something special. He's not going to keep averaging 33 yards a play, but he might have another 2 in him. And I just think if you keep doing what he's done, a smart guy like Gus is going to be like, well, gosh darn it, I feel like I should get him involved a little bit more than I have. So I'm going to put it at 4.5.
Okay.
For all I know, it could be 13. He could be the starting tailback tonight, but I think 4.5 is a good number, right? Or should it be even higher than that?
No, 4.5 is good. It's good. Good.
Okay, all right.
What about
total touches? So that's rushes and receptions, obviously.
What about Florida State's third down conversion percentage? They're second in the country. They're converting 2/3, 66.7%.
50?
51.5.
How about just 50.5?
Okay.
Or 49.5. They either convert more than half or they don't. That's going to be easy to figure out.
All right. Piece of cake.
I know, Pete, you're thinking people are going to be like they're going to hammer the over. But again, they played every game at home where it's been it's been library quiet when they're trying to go for a third and 3.
Third down.
Bong. Bong. Yeah, you're going to be hearing that all night in Charlottesville, man. So how are they going to respond to that piped-in stadium noise and the bong of the bell, or the gong? So I think if you can convert 50% of your third downs on the road, you've had a good game offensively. Yeah, for sure. So let's keep that in mind. 67% is nuts.
Oh, I know they weren't. Yeah, I was going to say I want to put something in the 50s, but I guess 49.5 is right. What about something really crazy? Combined, Jerry Wilson, Earl Little, and Jabril Rawls, I guess your 3 top defensive backs, 0.5 interceptions.
Oh, okay. How about just just those 3? So if
Quindarius,
KJ Kirkland gets one, it doesn't count.
Does not count.
All right, sure, do that. I think most people are going to take the under there, but you shouldn't. All Jerry Wilson does is intercept passes, and look,
Earl's got one too,
they are going to have a chance, right? He is going to give them opportunities to make plays. These DBs, It's a matter of going and winning your one-on-ones and go making plays because he will throw it up to his guys and assume they're going to go make plays. He's got a lot of confidence in those receivers, and he tries to throw with anticipation. He doesn't wait till guys are wide open. He will let it rip and try to get it into tight windows.
All right, I'll figure out what the tiebreaker will be, but here it is again from the top. 2.5 punts for Florida State's Max Schimento. Florida State's defense, 1.5 sacks. Squirrel White, 43.5 receiving yards. Makai Danzy, total touches from scrimmage, 4.5. Florida State's offensive third down conversion percentage, 49.5. And combined interceptions for the triumvirate of Earl Little, Jerry Wilson, and Jabril Rawls, 0.5. Those are your over-unders. This has been probably posted for a few hours by now over on the warchant.com Tribal Council. We'll probably tweet it out to the general public a few hours before kickoff, so be on the lookout for our social media tweets from the Warchant account. Corey, report back on Monday when we reconvene on all the cool things that you've done in Charlottesville. What was the vibe like on Thursday when you were out there? Is it bubbling over? Like, can you feel the tension of a big-time ACC game looming?
Yeah, the Hilton Garden Inn was out of control when we got here. The parking lot was completely empty. But we also got here like 2:45. We will be going out on the town later on Thursday night. Apparently somebody with connections to somebody in Dave Matthews Band is playing at a jazz club.
Nice!
So I can't tell you how fired up I am for that. So we'll be doing that, and I'll be able to report more. Right now, I have seen no one and talked to no one except my wife, and it wasn't the best conversation because I could not believe the high-speed internet debacle. So hopefully things are about to take a turn once we're done with the show.
Oh, go check out warchant.com for the Warchant Report, comprehensive preview show of the game, the matchup analysis. 3 p.m., you'll have a pregame show with Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang. That'll be on Warchant TV as well as 93.3 FM terrestrial radio in the greater Tallahassee area. Post-game show, 10 to 15 minutes after the game concludes. And then the Warchant wrap, hour, 2.5, 3 hours afterwards. Have some vitamin energy. Stay up. Enjoy what we think will be the first conference win of the season, the first road game win of the season. And we'll have you covered like we always do over at warchant.com. He's Corey Maslin. Thanks for listening to Wake Up Warchant, presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com, warchantbogo, your promo code.